Alright, so what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Swagner17. Today I'm going to be making my first tier list for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate version 7.0. As you can see by the length of this video, I've been putting in the work to write this script, and leaving a like before you click off the video would be amazing. But I guess let's get started. So, I recently saw a video by Smash YouTuber Zero, who acknowledged how many bad Smash tier lists are out there. So today I'm going to do my best to create the most accurate competitive tier list for Smash Ultimate. It goes without saying, but obviously every tier list that's ever made is opinionated because Sakurai and Nintendo will never release an actual factual tier list for Smash, so it leaves us, the community, to do our best to create an accurate tier list. Sorry for the long intro, this is my first time doing a video like this, and I actually tried kind of hard on it, so let's just get into it. Obviously, from best to worst, we have S, A, B, C, D, and F, and then we have this random alts and stuff. I don't know why those are there, but yeah, so we have that tier. And also, quick disclaimer, the characters are not organized within their tiers based on how good they are against their tier peers, if that makes sense, because there's no need to really break it down that far. So everyone that's in the same tier are essentially within the same range of each other. And the only reason I didn't classify Ivysaur, Charizard, and Squirtle separately is because they're essentially one character, even though they're three separate characters. But if you really wanted me to break them down, I would probably put Ivysaur and Squirtle in A tier, and then Charizard would probably go in C tier, maybe. So like I said, this is going to be a long video because I want to do a good job here, even though all my effort will probably pay off with this video getting about 26 views. But it's whatever, because I actually really enjoyed doing this. But I'll also apologize now if I roast your main, but just because they rank at some spot in the tier list does not mean they aren't viable character, except for the F tier. And with that, I'll get rid of the elephant in the room and put Little Mac in his rightful spot at F tier. We know he has some of the worst aerials, and an average ground game is not good enough to give him a single good matchup amongst the cast. It's kind of sad he's been a terrible character for 2 games in a row. And believe it or not, I actually have a second and final member to the F tier, and that is going to be Kirby. Now, I enjoy playing Kirby in casuals, and that's kind of the only time you'll really find success with this character. Kirby has a great recovery, but his lack of kill options and easily punishable moves due to poor hitboxes and major end lag makes him one of the least popular characters you'll ever see in tournaments or competitive play. So that's actually all I have in the dreaded F tier, and I have major respect if you solo main either of these characters. Okay, moving on to the D tier. Now, these characters are flat out bad, but they can be decent counterpicks to each other, but they're not really going to fare well against the rest of the cast above it. But I will say, surprisingly, a lot of characters in the D tier would probably be S tier if we're talking casual gameplay, but I doubt we will ever see someone win a major tournament, let alone a single set in a major tournament, using any of these characters. To start things off, I'm going to put Mii Brawler and Mii Gunner here in D tier. I feel like they're a difficult character to rank. They have different potential movesets, and there really isn't an OP variant amongst them. But I will say the Mii Sword Fighter is a tier above because I've personally seen some sick variants do pretty well with him. But as for the Brawler and Gunner, they aren't very optimal, and you would never see them mained in competitive play, so I'm leaving them in D tier. Okay, next up, I'm going to be getting rid of another duo. So Simon and Richter. It's a bit controversial, I know, but they're going to be in D tier. They're not very good in Smash Ultimate. I have seen some sick combos, but everything about them is slow, and they're kind of hard countered by any small or fast characters. And it's hard to even say these characters would be viable in competitive doubles, let alone ever seeing one make a decent run in a major. They don't have that good of a recovery, and that usually makes for a poor character. Next, I'm going to put Wii Fit Trainer here in D tier. Honestly, it's not a terrible character. It has a unique design and moveset, but it just gets overpowered by most members of the cast. But I will say, like I said, for most D tier characters, a good Wii Fit player would absolutely wreck some casuals, especially in doubles with her annoying projectiles, but this character's lack of optimization and low priority when smashing off against faster fighters makes her a bad choice for top level play, in my opinion. Okay, Bowser Jr. is next. He is very slow and clunky. His projectiles are pretty slow, and he has not very good aerials. With all that said, just last month, a player actually by the name of Ketchup actually got second place in a pretty big tournament using Bowser Jr., even resetting the bracket and even taking it all the way to Game 5 before losing. So There is some potential for this character to become more viable if people like Ketchup keep grinding Bowser Jr. Okay, Incineroar is next up to be placed in the D tier. Being one of the slowest characters in the game can always be detrimental to success. He also has bad aerials and a wacky recovery. This character has very few favorable matchups, and that's all I really have to say about him. I mean, you'd never see him in tournament play. As for the other slowest character in the game, I'm putting Robin here. Obviously, being extremely slow with bad kill confirms will always leave you at the bottom of the tier list, and honestly, that's all I have to say for Robin. I think her magic is easy to play against as well. She's just not that good of a character. Okay, this was kind of a tough decision for me, but I'm putting Meta Knight here in the D tier. I mean, he's fallen off quite a bit since his double S tier days of Brawl. His moves do less damage. He has a lot of end lag and struggles to kill against characters bigger than him. I think Meta Knight is cool, but it seems like nobody's really taking the time to grind and fully optimize this character in Ultimate, because there's clearly so many other better options. Okay, Ridley, the hype beast from, the Ultimate trailer, he belongs in the D tier. Ridley, he struggles against all small characters or anyone who's faster than him, which is a lot. He just has very few favorable matchups due to his clunky nature as a fighter in Ultimate. He has some of the worst auto-shield options, and he just gets bodied by everyone. Okay, this next pick is a little risky, but I'm putting Piranha Plant in D tier just for now. And that might be obvious for some of you, but I think all this character needs is a minor buff, and Piranha Plant could see itself all the way towards B tier, even A tier, and being an optimal pick in top-level tournament play. He has an incredible recovery and unique style of play that can be difficult for players who don't know his moveset. Actually, a few months ago, a Piranha Plant solo main by the name of Brood actually placed second in a major tournament, so the sky is the limit for this character moving forward. But as for now, we'll just leave him in D tier due to the fact that he has very few favorable matchups, so it would take a god player to actually win a major with this character the way he is right now. Okay, so I actually have 3 members of the D tier left, and instead of talking about them individually, I'm just going to summarize them all at once. So I'm putting Ganondorf, King Dedede, and King K. Rool in the D tier. Now obviously these are all 3 very hard-hitting heavies who find themselves completely obliterating the casual scene, but when you take it to the next level, these characters' massive kill moves become easily punished, and they struggle against most characters who are a lot faster than them. I enjoy and respect these heavy characters, and like I said, they would be god tier against casuals, but they'll probably never get the job done in major tournaments. So that's actually it for the D tier. I mean, how's it looking for you guys? Are you triggered yet? I mean, I feel like this isn't too bad, so I guess we can head up to the C tier. Now, me personally, I classify the C tier as mediocre characters who can win games in a tournament and could be viable counterpicks. They could be optimized more, and ultimately, so I'll strongly say from here on out, there are no more bad characters in Smash Ultimate. So let's start throwing characters into the C tier. Okay, first off, I'll get rid of a character you probably expected to be in the D tier, and that's my secondary character, actually, Jigglypuff. So she's definitely not as good as she was in her glory days of Melee, but by no means is Puff a bad character in Ultimate. I mean, a good combo of an offensive yet defensive character. She obviously dies extremely fast, and her setups into rest don't kill as soon, but her incredible air mobility makes precise inputs off stage a nightmare for any character she juggles into the blast zone. Also, I'm a massive Hungrybox fan, so I'm all about grinding this character in competitive play and forcing her to climb the tier list. Okay, like I said, I'm going to put Mii Sword Fighter here in C tier, and there's not much to say. It's just better versatility and kill confirms than the other Mii fighters. And I feel like this tier is going to get me most in trouble because there are honestly some questionable picks, but I didn't want to crowd the high tiers, and I think I can make a case for why these characters belong in C tier. Okay, I actually just changed locations. Sorry if the audio is a little bit different now, but I think we left off with Mewtwo. So Mewtwo is going to go into the C tier. I'm going to go ahead and group Falco with him. I know they're very different characters, but I feel like they're rather tricky to master, but they die rather soon to heavy hitters. But they have decent mobility, and that makes them a viable choice in the hands of a great player. And I'm also going to group Greninja and Diddy Kong. I often pick up Diddy Kong, and honestly I play fairly well due to his combos with his banana, and Greninja honestly does well against some of the overpowering sword characters of the game, but struggles against top tier matchups to characters such as Snake or Palutena. Both characters might need a slight buff, and then they'll be ready to potentially win a major in the hands of a great player. Now, this is really controversial. Most people will say Greninja is probably A tier, B tier maybe, but he just hasn't got the tournament results that I'm looking for, and I'm gonna leave him in C tier, okay? I mean, you'll notice that this is a common talking point for the C tier, that these characters just haven't been picked up by actual gods of the game who put in hours and hours of time memorizing matchups and spacing and frame data. So I want to see a wide variety of characters winning majors, and honestly, we've kind of seen that so far, and there's not really a number one for sure best character in the game, which is kind of awesome, and it's a great time to play competitive Smash. Okay, next up in C tier we have Dr. Mario. Now, I have no idea why, but he was always one of my favorite characters as a kid in Melee. He actually just got a decent buff recently, but I still think he's worse than Mario, but he's still different and fun to play, just won't get you insane results at high level of play due to his slower speed, maybe smaller hitboxes on his move, and not that good of a recovery. Now, I'm glad to say Bayonetta belongs in C tier. Her heavily nerfed state here in Ultimate feels just right, honestly. She can't do those crazy combos anymore, and just from the little I've played her in Ultimate, I found it kind of hard to kill confirm. I don't think Bayonetta has made it into top 8 in a major tournament since this game's released. Okay, I actually had 4 characters that I was going to talk about here in the C tier, but I actually decided to bump all 4 of them up to B tier, and I'll let you guys know who they are once we get there. You guys probably would have thought I was insane if I didn't include them in the B tier. Okay, but moving along with the C tier, we have Isabelle and Villager. Now, a lot of people have been thinking that Isabelle is actually worse than Villager, but I mean, a 15-year-old girl by the name of Bochi actually beat one of the best Snake players in the world, Ally, with a huge comeback in a big tournament. I mean, she single-handedly proved that Isabelle can be a decent option. And these two characters just tend to be too slow. Their moves come out slow. It can be difficult to hit those satisfying kill moves. I mean, they have an incredible recovery, some of the most unique movesets in the game, but they would just get obliterated at any super major tournament. Okay, Lucario is next. I really like Lucario. Now, with his aura, he turns into one of the better characters in the game, but having to always be at kill percent obviously isn't always optimal. I will say he is a good counter to one of the best characters in the game, Pikachu, who always finds a hard time killing his opponents. I mean, Lucario is a solid choice, and I'll just say he can stay in C tier for now. Up next, we have a character that I don't even know why is in this game. We have Terry in the C tier. Me personally, I don't think he's that good in Ultimate, but then again, I don't really play him like at all, but his movement and moveset lead me to believe he's nothing better than an average brawler with decent kill moves and not the best recovery. That's all I have to say about Terry. Next up, we have a bit of a controversial pick. I'm putting Corrin in the C tier, and honestly, she's kind of hard character to gauge. She has a unique moveset, and she is honestly very annoying to face in casuals, but she struggles against some of the range-based fighters. Corrin seems to mostly do well only against characters below her on this tier list. Okay, quick edit here. Someone actually recently whipped out a Corrin as a counter pick to Dabuz. Dabuz, a really good Rosalina and Olimar player. He reverse 3-0'd him, so maybe Corrin will see some more action and move up a tier, but then again, Corrin's just a great counter pick for a top tier player like Dabuz. So Corrin will stay in C tier, but obviously might be B tier soon. Sorry about it, but we got more controversy coming in. I'm putting Sheik in the C tier. I mean, it's no mystery that Sheik struggles to kill, but her insane mobility and combo ability makes her a popular choice in every iteration of this game. I mean, I doubt Sheik will return to her glory days of Smash 4 and Melee, but she's by no means a bad character just because she struggles to kill at low percents. I mean, her ability to combo fast makes her time to kill pretty similar to those who can kill at lower percentages because they're not moving anywhere near as fast as Sheik. But I still think she is a C tier character. I mean, you can just do the same things with someone such as Joker, so I don't know why Sheik would ever be your choice, but I respect Sheik so hard. Okay, next up, I'm putting Duck Hunt. It's like everybody I put in the C tier, it's hard. It's hard for me to put these characters in C tier. But like I said, C tier doesn't mean bad. I mean, D tier and F tier, bad. I mean, there's not many bad characters in this game, obviously. There's more good characters than bad characters, and that's honestly a great thing for this game. Duck Hunt, like I said, he has actually a lot of potential moving forward, but it's going to take a world's biggest grind, and I don't know if it's actually worth it, but the potential for Duck Hunt is looking pretty promising. Raito, spelled R-A-I-T-O, if you're curious to look him up. He's one of the most popular Duck Hunt mains, and he's been performing pretty well. If you want to check him out, look him up on YouTube. Pretty good stuff. So next up in the C tier, I'm gonna put Sonic in the C tier. Now Sonic is obviously the fastest grounded character in the game, and he's got some nasty combos and aerials off stage. Now Sonic's speed makes him kind of hard to hit, but once you do, it seems like he dies kind of early. He is a decent pick, and Ken, I don't think it's the same Ken from Melee, but a player by the name of Ken actually got second in a major tournament recently while solo maining Sonic, but I think he still belongs in C tier. Okay, we actually only have a few characters left, and next up, I'm going to put Luigi in the C tier. Now, I know what you're going to say. He has insane 0 to death down throw combos, and he has decent kill confirms. He's got the misfire, he's got the up B, but I mean, he has a pretty poor vertical recovery, and he kind of dies early to big attacks. He does way less than Mario. Most people don't know that. So he actually dies faster than characters like Mario. I mean, I love Luigi, but I think C tier is pretty fair for him. Moving forward with more controversy, I'm putting Hero in C tier. I was kind of thinking B tier for Hero, but I mean, Hero's an RNG-based character who is flat out mediocre without his magic, like his normal sword attacks. I mean, they're still good, but not OP without his magic, of course. I mean, he's still fairly new to Ultimate, but I think there's a reason Hero has never seen grand finals of a major tournament. I mean, personally, I have no idea how to beat Hero in Elite Smash, but pro players seem to have no problem facing off against Hero. Okay, so there's actually only 3 people left for C tier. First off, we're going to put Lucas in C tier. I think Lucas belongs in C tier. He's obviously a little bit worse than Ness. His B moves are arguably less power in every aspect, except his PK freeze, which is probably his best move. It's not insanely difficult to avoid it, but mashing out of the ice while flying off stage at a very fast speed into the blast zone is kind of annoying to play against. He's got decent aerials and a tether grab, but not many defensive options, and he kind of dies really early, so C tier seems just right for him. Now, it was actually really hard to decide for Link. I couldn't decide B tier, C tier. I'm just going to place him in C tier. Believe it or not, all 3 of the Links are in different tiers for the, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but I think it's kind of true. So obviously I think Link is the worst of all the Links. I really wanted to put him in B tier, but I mean, his high kill power doesn't really compensate very well for his extremely slow movement. I mean, he's got terrible startup and end lag to most of his moves. I mean, he's got decent projectiles, but it makes him an average character at best. But I mean, it's almost a meme at this point, but the Links in Elite Smash are no joke. I mean, they're almost impossible to play against. But he's not going to be winning any major tournaments. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. These last 2 are going to obviously get me in a lot of trouble because I'm putting, where's she at? I'm putting Rosalina and Luma, and I'm putting Mega Man in C tier, okay? I'm just going to get it over with. Now, obviously, we have Dabuz and Kameme, who are both... Dabuz hasn't actually won a major tournament, but Kameme actually has with his Mega Man, but I'm going to try to argue why they belong in C tier. See, I don't want to take credit away from Dabuz, but I think it actually is the fact that Rosalina and Luma is not really that good. They get annihilated by top tier characters in this game. And as for Mega Man, I really, if I had to pick between anybody in this tier to move up, it would be Mega Man. Because like I said, Kameme has won a major tournament while using Mega Man in grand finals. But I feel like it's more of people not practicing against Mega Man and memorizing that matchup. I mean, I'm not going to take credit away from Kameme because he is an insane Mega Man player, but Mega Man is proven to also get bodied by top tier characters such as like Olimar and Wolf, who can easily counter Mega Man's projectiles. Okay, so that's all we have for C tier. I mean, not too bad, right? So now we are moving on to the B tier. Okay, you know what? Okay, fine. We'll just put Mega Man in B tier. We'll just put him in B tier. We'll be done with it. But I'm not giving Rosalina and Luma that satisfaction of moving up because she freaking sucks, bro. Okay, so as for the B tier, I'm going to talk about those 4 characters that I mentioned that I originally had in the C tier that I just moved up to the B tier. So first up, we have, of course, Samus and Dark Samus. So I have Samus, Dark Samus. They actually just recently got a nice buff. Obviously, Samus and Dark Samus have a pretty good projectile game inside of Smash Ultimate. She's also kind of a heavy, like top 10 heaviest characters in the game. And the tether grab can be pretty annoying, and we can never forget about those fares. I mean, Samus, I think, is going to see more usage in the major tournaments. Just a great, solid pick. As for the other 2, I'm just going to group them together. I don't want to spend too much time, but I'm going to put Zelda and I'm going to put Yoshi. Obviously, Zelda just got a massive buff and is kind of OP in the metagame right now. And Yoshi, always been a solid character. Crazy thing about Zelda is she doesn't really take that much skill to master. I mean, all of her B specials are good. Her up smash is completely broken. And I won't be surprised if we see Zelda mains making it to top 8 in majors pretty soon here. And like I said, Yoshi has been a consistent, solid pick throughout every single game in Smash history. It's never been the best, but never been the worst. It's kind of always viable, like always able to win tournaments, even if Yoshi doesn't. He's always able to. Yoshi obviously has the fastest air mobility in the game, which can make it very difficult to land hits on Yoshi, and you better have a good recovery if you're fighting Yoshi because his aerials off stage are no joke. I actually recently started playing Yoshi more, and it is so fun to just short hop around the map, throwing out infinite aerials. Dude, that down air, insane. And the dreaded forward air off stage, that spikes so hard. It's so fun to just watch Yoshi obliterate people. Also, another reason, I already mentioned it with my Corrin, but another reason I'm not moving Rosalina up here with Mega Man is because he just got bodied by a Corrin, reverse 3-0'd in a tournament. Suck it. Okay, sorry for the aggression, but moving on with the rest of the B tier. I'm going to be putting Ryu and Ken. Now, I really don't like these characters at all. They actually did just receive buffs in the 7.0 patch, but even with that, it's kind of hard to see them being a B tier character. Like, if I didn't do a little bit of research, I would have probably put them in D tier at best. Like, I don't think they're that good. I've not really faced many OP Ryu and Kens, but I mean, apparently they're kind of good. So it's mostly because I'm personally god awful with them, but apparently people can win games, and I don't really have much support for my argument here, but we're just going to leave them in B tier. But they're probably the lowest B tier character, or like lowest chance of winning a major or even making it to grand finals that are in the B tier, honestly. But we're just going to leave them in B tier, okay? Okay, next up we're putting, not Young Link, we're putting Toon Link actually inside the B tier. Toon Link actually just got some buffs in the 7.0 patch, and I think that's kind of enough to make him surpass normal Link now. He was obviously the worst of the Links before, but now I think he is right in the middle. Toon Link obviously has very similar tools to Young Link, but I mean, if you like Toon Link, I don't know why you would use him over Young Link, but I mean, he's a B tier, so he's pretty good. Okay, next up we have the Ice Climbers. I actually really enjoy this character, and high-level players are starting to master some nasty, decent combos, and they're performing fairly well in tournaments. I think it's just a matter of time before we see this character either get a buff or get further optimized through grinding, and eventually have the full potential to flat-out win a major tournament. Ice Climbers are obviously great, but it's kind of difficult to master that kind of technical skill, so I mean, for that reason, we're going to leave them in the B tier. I mean, it goes without saying, but if this was like a task tier list, like a tool-assisted tier list, like the most like fully potential best characters in the game, this tier list would look absolutely different. But I mean, just humans can only input so much. I mean, Ice Climbers, Fox, some of the other characters, hard to name them all, but tool assisted, or even Marth, honestly, would be double S tier. But humans can't really input those perfected inputs. Okay, next up we have Ike. He is a great character in Smash Ultimate. He's got great range, and he's one of the hardest hitting sword fighting characters. I mean, I really enjoy playing him because of his aerials and his massive smash attacks. He's a bit slow, which can hurt him in top level play, but I mean, Ike kind of hard counters a lot of characters, and he's never a terrible choice. This is one of MK Leo's first characters he used in Ultimate, and people thought he was broken, but in reality it's just MK Leo being a beast because Ike is realistically a B tier. These next two characters, you might be surprised that they actually made it all the way into B tier, but I'm putting Donkey Kong and Bowser into the B tier. These are the OG heavies. These characters have actually never played better than what they do in Ultimate. I mean, they're faster, they have great aerials, and honestly pretty good recoveries. Donkey Kong was my main for all of Ultimate until recently. He's now my secondary along with Puff due to my love of a new main who's also in this B tier. But going back to Bowser, most of his moves have virtually no end lag. I mean, basically everything is safe in and out of shield, and it's like really hard to approach him and punish him from any angle. I mean, he's truly a god in casuals, and I like to see him push deep into the major tournament scene. And Donkey Kong is arguably worse than Bowser, but I mean, he's my boy, so I gotta let him chill in B tier for now. Donkey Kong has great throws, and he actually has the most spike options out of the entire roster. Okay, next up, I'm putting Mario in the B tier. I mean, don't really ask me why I separated Mario and Dr. Mario because, I mean, I just think Mario's better. Even though their movesets are almost identical, Mario's a very solid character due to his decent all-around playstyle. I mean, he's kind of decent at everything and not too good or not too bad at one specific thing. And actually, I just apparently read that Mario's actually a lot faster than Dr. Mario, and he's got less like end lag. Mario would actually just find himself winning more matchups in reality. They weigh the same, of course, but I don't know. He's a solid pick, and B tier seems perfect for him. Dark Wizzy, you can look him up on YouTube. He is a Mario main, and he is an absolute god. Go ahead and just watch him play. He just destroys everyone with Mario. Okay, next up, like I said, we're putting Marth here in the B tier, and it's mostly just because of how hard Marth is to be good with. Now, I will say I love Marth, especially in Melee. Okay, in Smash Ultimate, he kind of gets the short end of the stick, and that statement was kind of ironic because he needs to hit opponents at the long end of the stick to be more viable than his Echo Fighter, Lucina, who's not in B tier with Marth, by the way. So if you didn't know, Marth's sword has a tipper mechanic, meaning he does more damage and knockback if you hit an opponent with the tip of your sword. Any other part of the sword will actually do less damage. And I'll talk about why Lucina is better than Marth when we get to her. So Marth basically relies on a mastery in spacing and knowing how to hit that tipper efficiently. So that's why most people would rather choose Lucina, because why choose Marth when it would take a lot more grinding when you can just use Lucina for better results. Okay, next up I'm putting one of the most annoying characters in the game, Ness, into the B tier. I mean, he's got that really annoying PK fire that's really hard to get out of. I mean, Ness and Lucas, they both have a really weird jump pattern, and it makes them kind of hard to hit in the air. And that kind of really helps them out because they're really small characters, and it kind of works towards their advantage. But, I mean, when you do hit them, they're pretty light, so they die pretty early. Ness has arguably the best back throw in the entire game. He's kind of got all the tools for success. I mean, he has the ability to absorb projectiles to regain health. He's got great ledge guarding, and he's got pretty powerful aerials. And not to mention his overpowered PK moves. Okay, next up, I'm putting Pichu in the B tier. Now, we're almost there. We're almost done. I mean, it was kind of crazy to see Pichu at the top of the game early on in this game's life cycle. It was a big buff that Pichu deserved, but unfortunately he got nerfed. But he still is a viable character at high level of play. Obviously, Pichu does damage himself, and he kind of struggles to kill at high percents, and he's actually the lightest character in the entire game, so it's kind of hard to win with Pichu now, but B tier seems about right for him now. Okay, so next up, we have my #1 new main in Smash Ultimate, and oh my god, I love this character. it is actually Banjo and Kazooie. I think he's B tier. I think that's a really solid choice for him. And I kind of accidentally fell in love with this character. I mean, he's got decent mobility, he's got decent weight, he has great kill options as well. I mean, Banjo doesn't really have many bad matchups, which I enjoy. Like, he can go pretty well against Pikachus, he can go pretty well against, Bowser's. So, he's a great option. Doesn't matter size, speed. He's just a great overall, all-around character. I can't talk about my boy Banjo without talking about his invincible side B Wonder Wing. You get 5 of them per life, which, I mean, it's kind of easy to avoid them, but if you got good mix-ups, it's a great kill option. His down throw, it also buries you underground, and once you're above 100%, it is very hard to mash out before my down smash sends you flying off stage to your death. Probably his biggest weakness is his recovery, and his down B bomb is actually an incredible defensive weapon, and it comes in handy for edge guarding, and if you miss a Wonder Wing, people want to punish you, but you can actually plop out that down B really quickly. For me personally, his dash attack into Nair is one of the better neutral startups, and in 2v2s, Banjo becomes a nightmare to face off against. Okay, sorry I spent a little extra time on Banjo. I mean, he's my main, I can get carried away, but we're going to move on to the next character here. I'm going to put Mr. Game & Watch into the B tier. This one's a bit hit or miss. It could be B, could be A. I'm just going to go ahead and put him in B tier. He's definitely one of the most unique characters in the history of Smash. I mean, no character really moves like him or has a move set like him. I mean, he's kind of really unpredictable. He's got a little bit of RNG, and it makes him a good counterpick for top tier characters like Pikachu or Snake. Unfortunately, he is one of the lightest characters in the game, and I mean, just be prepared to die at 80% when you're Mr. Game & Watch. But he is a solid fighter, and I think B tier seems just right for him. Okay, so I actually only have 2 characters left for B tier. Okay, so looking at this list, can you decide who you think belongs in the B tier? Okay, as I said that statement and I was looking myself at who's left, I actually somehow forgot to write a script for Pit, Dark Pit, and Captain Falcon, so I'm kind of gonna have to do this on a unscripted thing right here. Okay, this is kind of interesting. I don't really know what to do here, but I'm gonna put Pit in C tier. I don't really know much. Is Dark Pit better than Pit? I don't know. I don't have time to research this, but I feel like people would choose Dark Pit more, and that side B is probably a lot better than Pit's. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Which Dark Pit in B tier, C tier? Okay, we'll just put him in C tier because I have no idea. Captain Falcon could go B tier, could go C tier. He was my main from Smash 4. He's obviously a lot worse than he is in Smash 4 compared to Ultimate. Oh god, I don't know how I missed 3 characters for my script, but let's go ahead without... Wait, did I say anything about Cloud either? I don't think I wrote a script about Cloud. Okay, guys, I think I really messed this up here. Let's just go ahead and put... I'm going to put Cloud in B tier. Didn't write about him. He actually just got a nice buff. He's actually pretty good in the metagame now, again. And as far as Captain Falcon goes, it's really hard. I mean, I think competitively, he's probably C tier, but I kind of have a soft spot for him. I'm going to put him in B tier just because I like him. He's got good aerials, he's really fast, and he's got great kill power. Kind of dies early, same with Cloud. Cloud's kind of a light character, but I think they both have great kill moves, and they're pretty solid choices. I didn't, for some reason, I somehow missed those 4 characters writing about them, but let's get moving on forward. Like I said, I have 2 characters left in the B tier, and first up, I'm going to put Rob. So we're going to put Rob into the B tier. He's got a really incredible recovery, and he's got really big hitboxes on all of his moves, but they kind of have a weird lag after you press it, if you know what I mean. His down spike, for example, it's a little bit of a lag after you press it before it actually hits, so it's not like other characters where it's immediate. So Rob can be kind of hard to master. His down B gyro, or gyro, yeah, the gyro, little top spinny thing. It actually really leads to good combos, and any good player, any good Rob player is going to use the gyro very well. His side B is always really annoying to get caught up in. I actually think Rob's kind of becoming a bit of a more popular character to play with. I just watched one major tournament set. I forget who it was. It's like Wadi. I think his name was Wadi. He was a pretty good Rob player. But yeah, I think B tier is pretty good for Rob right now. Okay, so we got 20 characters left. Only one more for B tier, and I think you guys will be happy. I'm putting Byleth in the B tier. Byleth is not an S tier, A tier character. Byleth is not a terrible character. Byleth is a great character. Byleth belongs in the B tier. I don't think anyone's gonna have a problem with Byleth being in the B tier. She's not as OP as everyone thinks. I mean, it's just the new character effect. I mean, it happens with every DLC character. People just not really mastering their moveset or memorize the spacing and approach to being able to beat these new characters. Byleth obviously is a pretty slow character. Top 10 slowest characters in the game. That's kind of detrimental, but it's a good exchange for her massively powerful moves. She's got good shield breaks. She's got good aerials. She's got a projectile. She's got a great nair. She can spike opponents off stage. She's got a tipper mechanic, which makes spacing like crucial, and it's really rewarding. She can often kill heavies at like medium percents. Her up air and up smash, insane. And of course she has the cheeky up B that can, do so many crazy things. You guys already know, don't need to really say it. I did just watch a Byleth player win a big major tournament. I don't know if it was a major, just like it was a big tournament though, against some, there was some pro players in attendance. The Byleth player beat a wolf, I forget the name, but it wasn't anybody too big, but still impressive nonetheless. A big tournament won by Byleth, so this character, I'd say it has more to lose than it does more to gain moving forward, so that's why B tier seems just about right. So that's actually it for the B tier. Honestly, I don't think there's too many surprises so far, and honestly, the rest of the cast, so these like 19 characters, that's crazy. 19. When you say it out loud, it really puts an emphasis that 19 characters are more than capable of winning major tournaments. And I mean, half of these don't even take like super much like technical skill or complete mastery to be successful. I mean, that's why there's very few people who actually solo main in Smash Ultimate, because honestly, being good at the game is almost, for once, more important than actually being good with a specific character and memorizing, character matchups. I mean, there are exceptions to that rule, and I'll get into that later, but let's just get started with sorting out this A tier. So first off, I'm going to be putting, the Fire Emblem characters. I'm going to be putting Lucina here. In case you're wondering why she is not in the same tier as Marth, her Echo Fighter, that is because even though she has an identical moveset to Marth, she actually does the same damage no matter what part of her sword hits her opponent. Like I said, Marth will do less damage at point blank using the same attack as Lucina. So that's why Lucina is an easier, that's why Lucina is kind of an easier pick. But on that same note, using like tool assistance would prove that Marth is actually a lot better than Lucina. But, humans can't really care to master that spacing and the tipper mechanic for Marth, so they can just use Lucina and get better results with an easier grind. Next up, we have Roy and Chrom. I wouldn't call them Echo Fighters. They're like kind of Echo Fighters, but not really. I don't know. They're kind of different, honestly. They do have the same weight and the same speed. They actually have some of the best air mobility in the game. Their aerials and smash attacks do major damage. I mean, you got the Roy and the Chrom players. I mean, like all Fire Emblem characters who like to spam the side B, just the rapid sword attacks. They got the cheeky down B counter. I mean, it comes into handy at any given time, but it is kind of annoying, especially people who spam it. I mean, they both have decent recoveries, but Chrom in particular has the ability to spike an opponent who is on stage while you are about to grab ledge with Chrom. Like, it is absolutely broken. I actually love using Chrom. I've actually picked him up as like my 4th character. I know you shouldn't really have that many mains, but I'm not so much of a competitive player yet. So yeah, all 3 of these Fire Emblem characters I've put in A tier so far are very popular picks for high levels of competitive play. Okay, so next up I'm putting Wolf. I honestly don't really know much about Wolf, but I mean, he's got decent speed and kill power. He obviously dominates mid tiers as he should, but he kind of struggles heavily against his peers in A tier and his superiors in S tier. He doesn't really have the best recovery, and he's kind of hard to master. I mean, like I said, I don't really have the most knowledge on Wolf, but obviously we've seen him fare pretty well in major tournaments, so I think putting him in A tier is the right choice. This might be a surprise to some that Shulk made it this far, but Shulk is actually an A tier character. Shulk is pretty interesting in Ultimate, and I actually just recently started using him a little bit in friendlies. His neutral B with the Monado arts can come in really handy in actually many different situations, and it like changes his playstyle throughout games. Like, he can be very offensive or very defensive, and you know, Shulk players have consistently been finding their way into top 24 in majors. The most notable being Kome, I actually don't know how to pronounce that. He actually placed 2nd in Japan's rendition of EVO 2020. So that's why Shulk is going in A tier. Next up in A tier, we have a character who actually beat Kome in that EVO 2020 for Japan, Olimar. So Olimar actually beat Shulk in that tournament. Olimar is a very annoying character in Smash Ultimate. And honestly, thank God he's only allowed to use 3 Pikmin at one time. I remember back in, Brawl, he had like 5 Pikmin. I don't even remember what that was like, but that would be absolutely insane in today's game. Olimar, obviously, he's a very small character. He dies early. He kind of has a hard time killing. He's got to, hit smash attacks. He just does a lot of damage by throwing Pikmin and all that stuff. And Olimar is one of the few characters who surprisingly has a pretty good matchup against top tiers like Pikachu. But at the same rate, he struggles heavily against people, like Peach. He is a solid pick, but it's definitely going to take a lot more grinding. Maybe, I was about to say a buff, but I definitely do not want to see a buff by Olimar. So we're just going to leave him right here in A tier. Okay, moving forward. Now this is where the list gets interesting. I mean, all the rest of these could easily go S or A tier. I'm putting Wario in the A tier though. Yeah, like I said, Wario could go either way. I'm just going to put him in A tier just to stop all the, debating, because honestly, it's either one. He could go right anywhere, honestly. Talking about Wario, he is consistently placing high in tournaments, and he's being used by multiple pro players, but I find it interesting that he's never solo mained, which is kind of interesting because his combo game is actually insane, and those combos do take some serious technical skill to execute at a high level. He's also top 10 heaviest character in the game, so it's not always easy to kill him. He is a great choice. We've seen him win tournaments before. I don't really have much reason for why he's not S tier. I'm just putting him in A tier. Alright, next up I'm putting Inkling inside the A tier. Now, it's obviously no secret that Inkling is extremely good in all levels of Smash. I'm putting Inkling in A tier because she kind of struggles against high tier sword fighters like Marth, Lucina, and Roy and Chrom, like I said. And surprisingly enough, we've only seen one appearance in Grand Finals by someone who used Inkling in a tournament. And there's not really any solo mains for Inkling either, and that's kind of the only reason I'd say she's A tier instead of S. But I mean, Inkling's got all the tools. She's got that annoying paint. She's got great grabs, great combos, a berry mechanic, and pretty good speed, and that's going to definitely always put you on the top of any tier list, and I believe we all can agree A tier is just right for Inkling. Okay, next up, a little bit of controversy, but we got Pokemon Trainer in A tier, not S tier. We got A tier. Now, the only reason, it's not the best reason, but it's good enough for me. The only reason Pokemon Trainer is not S tier is because I think it's harder to master 3 characters opposed to the normal 1. Obviously, Pokemon Trainer mains have to learn how to utilize 3 characters at once to reach their full potential. Cycling throughout the match, obviously. Squirtle or Ivysaur at low percents for speed and combos, and then Charizard for when you're getting over 100% and need to play more defensively and hit your opponents harder. Obviously, we consistently see Pokemon Trainer in Grand Finals, but I put them in A tier, like I said, just because of the skill cap being so high for this character. I suppose you're wondering why a certain character out of these last 10 are still on the board, and you'll be happy to know he's not an S tier. That is going to be Young Link. I put him in the A tier. He is one of the better characters in Smash Ultimate due to like a weird super buff on patch 7.0. I mean, it increased most of his moves, damage, and knockback, making him kind of OP when he was already a decent character inside the game. I think he's going to become a good counterpick for Pokemon Trainer, but he's going to obviously struggle against Fox in like a high level of play. And I wouldn't be surprised if we consistently see Young Links in top 8 during major tournaments in the near future. I mean, I personally find him extremely difficult to go against, yet he's probably the easiest to use. So if you're a new player, why not pick up Young Link as a main? He's got great projectiles and pretty decent kill confirms. His up smash, absolutely broken. You can spam it. I mean, he's an absolute beast. Okay, so I actually have 2 characters, only 2 left for the A tier. First up, I'm going to be putting Pac-Man in the A tier. Alright, as I'm going to be talking about Pac-Man, I want you guys to predict who you think the last A tier character is going to be. We got Peach and Daisy, Fox, Pikachu, Snake, Joker, Palutena, Zero Suit Samus. Who do you think the last A tier character is going to be after Pac-Man? But while you're thinking about that, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about Pac-Man. So, first thing that comes to mind when I think about Pac-Man is the player TEA. He is a Pac-Man solo main. He's placed well in basically every single tournament he's played in so far. I mean, going as far as winning first place in a major tournament, of course. Pac-Man is also a very difficult character to go against. Fox is actually a really good counter, but the skill cap for Fox is sky high, leaving Pac-Man to only mostly worry about, Palutenas when it comes to top tier matchups. Pac-Man has a pretty good recovery, he's got great projectiles, and decent kill confirms. I enjoy watching T dominate with Pac-Man, because I never really thought Pac-Man was actually that good inside of Smash Ultimate. Okay, so we have 1 character left for A tier, and believe it or not, guys, I'm going to be moving Joker into the A tier. Nope, and there's no going back. It's not a joke. Joker, no joke. Joker's A tier, okay? Now, as we know, in patch 7.0, he did just receive a pretty big nerf, and I think it's definitely going to hurt MKLeo's future performance, in my humble opinion. Now, not to take away from MKLeo, he's obviously the best player in the world, #1 player. He did just get beaten by Mars, but, I mean, and I think that was before the patch. So it's going to be really interesting at Frostbite next weekend what's going to happen, because, MKLeo, is his Joker still going to be that elite? Arsene kind of got a big nerf, and he doesn't last as long. Few other of Joker's moves got nerfed. Obviously, Joker can still win tournaments, but I'm really curious to see how MKLeo is going to do. I'm a big fan of his, so it's going to be fun to watch in 2 weekends from now. So, Joker is kind of really hard to master as well, so we'll put him in, I think A tier is fine. Shouldn't be too much controversy there. So, that is actually it for the A tier. We are down to the final 7 characters of the game. I mean, all of these are capable, most likely, to be used in top level play and winning super major tournaments like EVO and, all the other ones. While these characters are the best in the game, they are also some of the hardest to play at a high level. Like, it is extremely hard to get good with characters like Fox, Peach, and Daisy. And that is why tier lists almost don't really matter as much as the grinding by you, the human, that actually matters, okay? So first off, we'll just put Peach and Daisy, the combo queens, as I like to call them. So if you guys don't know who Sam Sora is, he is obviously a Peach legend. So he has actually entered already 29 major tournaments since Smash Ultimate released, And get this, out of 29 tournaments he's entered, he's at least placed top 12 in 28 of those tournaments. And he's basically solo mained Peach every single time. That is absolutely insane. And I mean, her combos obviously are the greatest, but they're also very hard to master. One day, you know, I sat in training mode for a few hours one day trying to grind out some Daisy combos, and it was kind of overwhelming for me. I mean, you can execute it against the CPU all day, but getting into it in an actual game against actual human opponents is very difficult. So props to Samsora for proving that Peach and Daisy are rightfully a top 10, probably top 5 character in Smash Ultimate. Now, next up, I have Zero Suit Samus. Probably a surprise for being an S tier, but the most recent huge super major tournament featured Mars. He's actually a Zero Suit Samus main. He defeated MK Leo's Joker, and I mean, Zero Suit Samus is kind of OP. She has insane combos that can kill super early. I mean, she's very nimble, and it's kind of ever hard to put her in a sticky situation. Since October of 2019, Zero Suit Samus has seen grand finals 7 of the last 11 major tournaments by a few different players, actually. And I think that speaks for her S tier ranking on its own. Okay, next up, I am putting Fox in the S tier. Okay, so like any Smash game, Fox is always pretty dang good. And similar to Melee, he's one of the best here in Ultimate. But also similar to Melee, when it comes to the technical execution, I'll just say he is the number one most difficult to get good with. I mean, he's the fastest falling character in the game, which makes him kind of hard to juggle, but also hard for the user to control. In my opinion, I mean, I'm not really used to his speed, so it's kind of hard to execute the simpler moves with him. I mean, maybe I'm just bad, but Fox is kind of hard to use. He's also the 4th lightest character in the game, so it's extremely easy to kill Fox, but also it can be extremely difficult to kill Fox. Because, you know, he's extremely fast and he's got insane tools. I mean, you can't really approach him because he will destroy you with combos and smash attacks, and you can't really play from afar because you will definitely rage when millions of lasers are flying at you from across stage. So I actually really like Fox, and I would like to be good with him, but the grind time is something I would not really enjoy. So Fox is arguably the number 1 best character in Smash Ultimate, but like I said, he's arguably the number 1 most hardest character to master. So it's kind of a hit or miss for Fox. Most people wouldn't even put him in A tier, but a guy by the name of Light, he also solo mains Fox. He has won 5 major tournaments since Ultimate release, but he's kind of had trouble beating top level players such as Mars, MK Leo, and Tweak, to name a few. Okay, so we have 3 characters left. I'll go ahead and talk about why I think Snake is in S tier. This could be more of a bias thing because in reality, the major tournament results don't really support my argument too much. So Ally and MVD are some of the best Snake players in the world. Ally, he's kind of stopped competing recently. He has won 2 major tournaments, but he's also only competed it in 12 tournaments since the release of Ultimate. For the past 6 months, he hasn't really played. Snake, he's a great character because he's arguably one of the best projectile characters in the game, but he can also be an in-your-face close-range brawler. He's got amazing tilts, he's got amazing smash attacks. I mean, he's basically an infinite recovery due to his bombs. I mean, it's literally impossible to SD as Snake if you're a pro player. Like, you just down B, blows you back up, you get an extra up B, and his up B is already pretty good. I mean, you physically have to be killed. What? Sorry, like I said, you physically have to be killed, and that really makes him a force to be reckoned with. And also going back to Ally, he hasn't really competed since summer of 2019, so that doesn't really help my meta argument for why Snake is S tier right now in Smash Ultimate. And Snake actually hasn't seen action in grand finals of a major since Ally stopped competing, but I'm pretty sure there hasn't been any nerfs on Snake, and he's still an elite character and can also be pretty hard to master. He actually was my main in Brawl, and I really enjoy him in Ultimate, and I don't think I have as much support as I would like, but I hope you can agree he's a top 10 character in Smash Ultimate, and we're just going to put him in the S tier. Okay, so there's obviously only 2 characters left. we'll just go ahead and get rid of Palutena here. I don't really use her that much, but I definitely face her a lot in locals and online play, of course. She's probably one of the easiest top tier characters to master because she got a pretty basic moveset and just extremely massive hitboxes and seemingly no end lag on all of her moves. Everything hits so hard and there's never really a chance to punish. I mean, she's got incredible recovery, annoying projectiles. She has one of the better counters in the game, and she can kind of kill at ridiculously low percentages. I honestly do not like Palutena at all. I haven't even mentioned she just received a decent nerf and is still arguably the best character in the game. That's kind of insane. Nairo, if you haven't heard him, look him up on YouTube. He is notorious for being a god with the goddess Palutena. See what I did there? No, sorry, okay. Anyways, Palutena, super OP. Nairo he's kind of killing it right now, and he does very well against Joker players, which is kind of hard for everyone to do. He's kind of the only character that seemingly struggles to go against the final character on my tier list. Okay, so that's it for Palutena. Now, the only character that seemingly everyone else on this roster struggles to go against is the final character on my tier list. Now, if this is the last Super Smash Bros. Game, Pikachu will enter as the best character, like he was in Smash 64, and he will go out as arguably the best character here in Smash Ultimate. So, Pikachu, S tier. He has virtually zero bad matchups at high level play. The only reason Pikachu probably isn't the #1 best character in the game is solely based on his lack of kill power, which becomes a massive problem in major tournaments. I mean, you can't really win if you can't really kill your opponent. So Esam is probably the most notorious Pikachu main right now, and while he has won a few major tournaments with Pikachu, he's kind of struggled against heavy grinders such as MKLeo and Dark Wizzy. But I do think Esam being the only solo Pikachu main to place well in major tournaments says not only a lot about Esam as a player, but the fact that yes, Pikachu is a great character that can win major tournaments against other top tiers in the game. Pikachu was actually one of the first characters I mained in Smash Ultimate until, I began heavily struggling to kill and resorted to finding a new main. But I have mad respect for Esam sticking to Pikachu for almost 20 years. Like, he's been playing Smash for a long time. So yeah, that is actually my tier list. I don't think this needs to be taken extremely serious because after all, this is the most balanced Smash game in the history of history. I'm about to blow your guys' mind because my mind was actually blown when I realized that 34 different characters off the 80-man roster have been used by players who ended up making it to grand finals in a major tournament. Obviously, not all 34 of those characters were actually used to play in the grand finals match, but for that player to use said characters and obviously play well enough to make it to the grand finals means that almost half the characters in Smash Ultimate can be used at a high level of competitive play. And honestly, even some of the D characters can be seen as counter picks in top 24, even though, it never really works out, they still play pretty well. It's honestly a great time to be a Smash fan and get into the competitive side of things, and I personally can't wait to start attending more local tournaments with my Banjo and Kazooie. Also, I think this goes without saying, but obviously the characters are not arranged within their tiers. I said that at the beginning of the video, but if you didn't hear that, I'm saying it again. Everyone that I put in the same tier, I think they're close enough in skill and to be called equals. We'll just call it a day there. And anyways, I guess that's going to be it for the video. If you could imagine by the length of this video how long it took me to write the script, I would really appreciate it if you guys leave a like, and I highly doubt anyone watched the whole thing, but if you skip to the end and you're here now, thank you, and maybe hit that subscribe button. I actually stream Smash Ultimate basically every day over on Twitch at Swagner17's. Hit me up with a follow over there. We are almost on our way to becoming an affiliate. I just hit 50 followers, and I'm actually working on a few of our other goals, and we're just having a great time over there. I'm really trying to go bigger on YouTube during 2020 and hopefully Twitch as well, because I just created my account last week. But yeah, that's going to be it for the tier list. Shout out to Zero for inspiring me to create an actual good tier list. I know he'll never see it, but it's whatever. I know there are a few questionable placements here, but I'm happy with this, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And until my next video, freaking deuces.